Adrenal fatigue is a highly prevalent illness that could be affecting you or many people you know. The primary causes of adrenal fatigue are, in fact, caffeine and excess sugar. Despite what a lot of experts might say, claiming that it's caused by excess stress or other causes, and because of its severity, adrenal fatigue is very similar to and can easily turn into type 2 diabetes if the causes persist. If you find yourself constantly tired or experiencing irregular energy patterns, this common condition could be the reason why. Now, a good way to recognize adrenal fatigue and diabetes is to simply look at your energy patterns. Cortisol normally rises in the morning as we wake up, but this doesn't occur as well, if at all, for people with adrenal fatigue. So these people often don't wake up feeling rested. Frequent urination is another common symptom. But the biggest indicator is caffeine dependence. You're tired all the time, and you get these very irresistible waves of drowsiness throughout the day. These people need that extra coffee in the afternoon or some kind of caffeinated drink just to get through the day. Otherwise, they won't be able to hold back the extreme drowsiness that follows lunch. For early risers who start working in the morning, a midday low might happen around 10 or 11 in the morning, requiring a boost. Otherwise, the low happens any other time in the afternoon, after some hours of being awake, and it takes form as a very heavy crash after a meal or exercise. They become completely overwhelmed by this wave of drowsiness and have no choice but to surrender to a nap or consume more caffeine just to carry on. And for a lot of people, sitting alone may cause them to become drowsy and fall asleep within minutes. Another noticeable symptom is that, unlike a healthy person, people with adrenal fatigue can get very strong cravings for sugar that especially occur later in the day, between the late afternoon and the evening. Some people may feel very little craving for chocolate or candy in the morning, and then quickly feel a strong craving for a tangy fruit-flavored drink or chocolate around dinner time. What's happening is, due to excess caffeine or stress, the cells in our muscles and fat and liver and pancreas have become insulin resistant. And as a result, the cells don't take in enough sugar. So the pancreas can't make enough insulin to keep blood sugar levels within a healthy range. On top of this, caffeine also stimulates the liver to produce more sugar. This ultimately leads to high blood sugar. You can test whether or not your blood sugar increases after your daily dose of caffeine. Now, interestingly, around 6 o'clock or a few hours after lunch, they get a sudden boost, sometimes leaving them feeling even better than in the morning, better than they have all day. So they'll feel balanced until around 9:30 at night or later, depending on their schedule. So if they fight their natural sleepiness around 11 o'clock or so, or midnight, they'll often get a second wind. And this second wind can prompt them to get up and read and clean and do various chores and activities until the morning, until 1:30 or 2 or 3 in the morning. And if they're able to sleep in, the most refreshing sleep they can get is between 7 and 9 a.m. Allowing yourself to sleep until around 9 a.m. rather than getting up really early, like 6:30, means that you don't have to use up all that cortisol for that mild stressor of waking up. Adrenal fatigue is still to this day not often diagnosed, and one reason is that successful treatment usually is done without drugs, and given that much of doctors' education is sponsored and influenced by the pharmaceutical industry, there's very little incentive to promote treatments that don't bring in revenue. Despite the diagnosis difficulty, people can do a lot for themselves by focusing on lifestyle changes, which is the primary treatment. A proper lifestyle change means removing and minimizing stress and arousing zest for life, as adrenal fatigue often comes with a mild depression. Sometimes it's due to the condition itself making the person feel inadequate and unhealthy, underperforming, and that recovery is impossible. Other times, the lack of minerals is causing a hormonal imbalance, and that's causing depression. Life begins to turn around when people shift to eating the right foods, maintaining an active lifestyle, getting enough sleep, around 7 to 8 hours, taking rests during the day, and finding enjoyable activities to keep them up and active. Adrenal fatigue and diabetes are essentially states of hormonal and energy depletion. So here's a list of supplements that work by directly supporting the adrenal gland's ability to produce cortisol and other hormones so that you can enhance cellular energy and help the body manage stress and inflammation. For essential vitamins and hormone synthesis, B and C vitamins are critical cofactors, like B1, particularly from nutritional yeast, one of the biggest food sources for that, and B5, pantothenic acid. These vitamins are fundamental to the stress response. B5 is often called the anti-stress vitamin because it plays a direct and vital role in the synthesis and balancing of cortisol and other adrenal hormones. B12 is very good for maintaining energy. Vitamin C. The adrenal glands utilize the highest concentration of vitamin C in the entire body. So it's essential for producing stress hormones and helping to modulate the cortisol response during periods of high demand. When you get vitamin C, the best kind is the buffered kind that's mineralized. So buffered vitamin C is good, or calcium ascorbate, right? When people take vitamin C, it's usually ascorbic acid. That's good for some things, like high dosing that to reverse flus and even cancers. But for something like this, we're lacking minerals, we're mineral deficient, go for the calcium ascorbate. It's a vitamin C that has calcium in it. And there's vitamin E. This nutrient acts as a potent antioxidant. It can help neutralize free radicals, which are generated by the increased metabolic stress that comes from this dysfunction. Other minerals for cellular function and balance. Magnesium is a really important one. It has so many functions. It's like a miracle mineral. It helps with muscle function, and that includes digestion, the relaxing of the digestive muscles so that they can excrete enzymes and stomach acid, all that stuff you need for digesting food, so that you don't get bloated and full and gassy. So magnesium supports a cellular energy production as well, ATP, which is usually compromised with this syndrome. Again, calcium. You need enough calcium for endocrine function. And trace minerals. These are good too. These micronutrients are necessary in small amounts, but are critical for thousands of enzymatic processes. So things like zinc, salt. You can get all these with a good multivitamin. Now, adaptogenic herbs for stress resilience. These are really good too. Adaptogens are specialized herbs that help the body adapt to stress by modulating the output of stress hormones, regardless of whether the body is underproducing or overproducing them. Some important ones include ashwagandha, famous for its ability to lower elevated cortisol levels and reduce anxiety. Cordyceps, an energy-boosting mushroom that supports stamina and endurance, and often helping to mitigate the severe energy crashes. Astragalus. It helps the body cope with general stress and fatigue. Maca, used to support the endocrine system. There are some other specialized ingredients for energy and regulation as well, like amino acids. These are the building blocks of proteins and hormones. Specific amino acids are precursors for important neurotransmitters, which are essential for mood regulation and stabilizing the nervous system, especially if there's this stress-induced irritability that you're getting from this fatigue. There's also licorice root compounds like glycyrrhizin that can help slow the breakdown of circulating cortisol. Cumin and whole fruit are also good. These ingredients help regulate blood sugar release. Consistent blood sugar is really essential for this syndrome. The body perceives a sharp drop in sugar as a severe stressor, which forces the adrenals to release more cortisol to compensate. So it's important to stabilize blood sugar. That's one of the main things you have to do. And when you eat the fruit, it's got to be whole fruit or blended, so that you include things like the skin and the other hard, insoluble fibers mixed with the pectin that it usually has. You don't want to eat too much fruit if it has, if it's very fibrous with vegetables. If you're not eating carbs or something soluble at the same time, because that's just going to get stuck in your body and it's going to create horrible cramps the next time you need to defecate. So a little bit of fruit between meals is great, or with a snack or with a meal is okay. Just mix it with something soft, soluble, like any kind of carbohydrate. Now, many of the aforementioned ingredients are combined into proprietary supplements specifically designed to target adrenal health. So here are some good products that have most of these ingredients already. Adrenasmart by Smart Solutions, Bounce Back Adrenal Recharge by Orange Naturals. They have a blend. It has a blend of B vitamins and adaptogens like ashwagandha. Drenamin. It contains B vitamins and C and adrenal extracts. And Drenatrophin, which usually contains glandular support like adrenal tissue concentrates. And finally, since this is a Gnostic organization, how can I talk about medicine and healing without mentioning the ancient herbal medicine treatments recommended by the Venerable Master Samael Onbaor? Master Samael has a few remedies for both diabetes and kidney regulation in his book, Treatise of Occult Medicine and Practical Magic. These are the recipes.
Affected kidneys. Prepare a decoction of rosemary leaves, artichokes, the flower head of the artichoke, and corn silk or corn hair. Consume 3 times a day or drink it as you would fresh water. It must be alternated with drinking fresh water. Second formula, Horsetail, Equisetum arvense L, corn silk, and rosemary, 10 grams of each plant. This must be consumed in alternation with another beverage which contains the juice of half of an artichoke, the flower head. This must be put to boil. Then add the juice of 3 lemons and consume it alternating with the former formula, the whole of. This is good for the kidneys until healing the sickness. Consume daily as well the juice of tomato, those tomatoes which have the shape of the apple. Third formula, crush 4 ounces of purple garlic and put it to mackerate within a half bottle of rum. Then bury the bottle where the sun must warm it during 7 consecutive days, and then consume it by spoonfuls, the quantity of 10 drops before meals. If this is too much, then only 10 drops daily. Avoid meat and consume very little salt. Diabetes. The honey water extracted from the trunk of the century plant, Agave americana L, serves also in order to cure diabetes. Consume 3 glassfuls daily, 1 before each meal for 1 year. Different teas can be drunk like Marcella Wild, Alternantera ramosissima choda, celery, Apium graveolens L, sarandil blanco, black mulberry, walnut, pezuña de vaca, watercress artichoke or wild artichoke, lagrimas de San Pedro, croix, lacrima joviel, etc., etc. Anti-diabetic tea. The following anti-diabetic tea must be prepared with a bunch of pezuña de vaca leaves, any quantity of leaves of wild celery, a bunch of black mulberry tree leaves, a good quantity of dandelion leaves. a bunch of Sarandil Blanco leaves. All of these leaves must be boiled in water, very well boiled. Use a pot of water in order to boil them and drink it as an ordinary beverage for your thirst. If some of these plants cannot be obtained, the anti-diabetic tea can be prepared with the rest of the plants. In accordance with elementotherapy, the plants must be blessed and the elementals must be commanded to cure the pancreas. This tea must be drank daily without ever getting tired of drinking it until becoming healed.